Welcome to the InTalksicated Podcast, a weekly comedy talk show that dives into the personal lives of comedians, experts, and creators. I'm your host, Sarah McClellan, a very amateur stand-up comedian and self-proclaimed sad girl. It's the comedy podcast with a lot of heart. Feel hard and talk hard. This is the InTalksicated Podcast.
My first comedy podcast.
Oh my god.
Definitely my first podcast since doing comedy. I was brief. My foray into podcast world was I was on a Dungeons and Dragons podcast very briefly.
Were you really?
Yeah, I just met these guys that like play Dungeons and Dragons, and they think they needed a girl just for like content.
Do you know how to play it?
So yeah, I like they just basically talk you through it though. If you have a dungeon master who like does it, and you just like have a few things that you learn, you just kind of go along with it, and it's basically just like role play storytelling and kind of like making decisions and stuff. So yeah,
easier than it appears, maybe.
Yeah. Dungeon if you have to be a dungeon master, you have to like know your shit and like plan things out. But realistically, otherwise, it's pretty easy.
Right.
But yeah, and then I did a little bit of volunteering with a radio station in Victoria. Yeah.
Oh, you have a good voice.
Oh, thank you.
You do. Like
Voice for radio. Thank you.
Well, I mean, like, listen, like, I tell comics all the time, like, if you have a good voice, and like, obviously, comics they use their voice all the time. Like, voiceover work is an easy thing, I think, for comics to do.
Yeah, and like a remote thing too.
Remote, and like, there's always like, I work at a podcast production company, and like, we have podcasts that we do all the time that like need voiceover.
Well, hot damn.
So
I've done that before.
So then if you're like, here's my, you just have to figure out what your voice sounds like. So you can, like, what qualities does your voice have?
Yeah.
Like,
Qualities does my voice have?
I get bright.
Bright. Okay.
I get sunny.
Lovely.
Youthful.
I'm a child.
I'm
an imp.
Yeah, I literally thought you were early 20s.
That's what I try to roll with, or all across every time I like met people and they're like, "How old are you?" And then I go, "Guess," which is like the meanest thing. I think I heard
such a mean thing.
I think I heard something the other day about like women doing that. They're like women. Whenever a woman says or wants you to guess how old they are, they're older than you think they are.
Yeah.
Or they're looking for a specific thing, and you have to tread it carefully.
Oh my god, that must be so stressful for people. Yeah. I feel like girl to girl, it's maybe not so hard, or maybe like girl to guy, but guy to girl. Like if a girl is asking a guy, that's hard.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know about those assumptions.
That's really scary. Really scary. All right, well, let's get into it, everybody. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the InTalksicated Podcast. I am bringing some female energy to the podcast. Finally, it's been a while. It's been a lot of recording with dudes, which I don't mind doing, but I'm super stoked to have this guest here today. She's somewhat new to the Halifax comedy scene, but absolutely killing it. I feel like I'm on a show. Am I hosting a comedy show right now? Put your hands together for Amanda Rose. Amanda Rose, welcome.
How are you guys doing tonight? Anybody celebrating anything?
How we feeling? I feel like I open every set with "How we doing? How you doing?"
Yeah,
I need to get away from that.
Oh,
it's such a fucking. I hate it.
It's the worst because I have the exact same thought process as well. Just because like if everybody on the show asks that, and you can tell the audience is like.
Right? It's like,
move on. Just move on.
Stop asking us how we are.
Yeah. And
we
also,
just want to hear you be funny.
It's also like one of those things that's like, it's more of the host's job to be like checking in. They're like, how are we doing? How are we doing?
Well, that's kind of why I like hosting.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because as a podcaster, it just becomes like little mini podcasts with people.
Yeah.
And to make sure they're happy.
Yeah.
So like as a people pleaser, I'm like, I don't mind hosting, but I also am not the type of host to like do jokes a lot. While hosting.
Well, that's fine. I remember I've only hosted a little bit, but I remember somebody giving me advice. They're like, you're just like, imagine you're hosting a party and you just want everybody to have a good time. And these are all your friends that you've brought. And that's kind of basically it. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. You're setting the table for the comics.
And you're also not supposed to be too funny.
No, you're not. You're supposed to be, I feel like you're supposed to be likable.
Yeah.
But not too funny. Yeah, absolutely. Have you ever hosted?
Not here, but I briefly in Kelowna when I was. Yeah, because I've only been doing comedy for a year, so.
Okay, well, we got to get right into it because this is, I feel like you're kind of like a lightning in a bottle comedian in a sense, because so you're from BC, you Kelowna and Victoria area.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. And Amanda is abnormally talented for being a year into comedy.
But continue.
but even before I had met you, I had heard this from like, I think Matt Baker told me about you. I think he was the one who was like, heads up, she's coming. Or it was either Matt Baker or Otter, one of those two angels.
Those angel boys.
They were just like, she's absolutely crushing for being so new. And like one thing specifically that Matt said about you was that you like took initiative as a new comic in terms of like asking for gigs, asking for spots. Where is all of that? Okay, well, like, let's start at the beginning. How did comedy happen for you? First of all, because you're only a year in and you are 28.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did this come about?
So I had moved back to Kelowna, which is my hometown from Victoria. And I'd moved back for a different job. And then I was living with my parents, classic, for like a while. Yeah. And I was just like, I don't really know if I have a passion in life, truly. Like nothing was like getting me super stoked. And then I think I had thought about it for like a year or two. I was like, stand-up comedy seems like the scariest thing I could like maybe do, you know? Yeah. It just seemed like, and then like a little while after I had that like crystal thought in my head, I was like, I should probably do it then.
Oh, interesting.
If I just have that as something like, I don't want anything off limits in my life. So like that was like a limit in my head. And I was like, I think I should do that then. And I think over like a year or two, I had like written notes down of like what I thought was funny and little things.
So you had kind of written some jokes, or you had ideas for jokes?
I had ideas, which looking back were so bad. Oh,
I
go back into those notes sometimes. I'm like, ugh.
I really want to do a show where it's comics bringing up their first joke book and like going over your first jokes that you've ever written.
Yeah, like the archaeological comedic record.
Yeah. Like it's so funny where they come from, because at the time that you have them, you're like, this is the funniest shit ever. Yeah. And then like, you get more experience and you look back and you're like, oh my God, these are awful.
Yeah. Which is like, that's how you should be looking back at your life most of the time anyway.
Right. Exactly right. Yeah.
But and then the weird thing is like, I've watched like stand up a little bit before, but I wasn't like a huge crazy comedy fan, and I had been to maybe one or two shows.
No way.
Yeah. And so like I went to an open mic, watched it once, and then like the next week I signed up. And I did like, my first set was the worst thing ever. Like I didn't have any clear crystal jokes. I didn't have any good structure. I was like, you just go up there and riff, that's what I'll do.
Right.
And
that's what a lot of men do.
Yeah.
When they start comedy, I find you start like a man.
I do have a masculine energy. Yeah. So then I did one set. It was the worst. Nobody talked to me. It was like awful. And then it was like December and I got COVID, and it was Christmas and it was like a month. And then I came back in January, and then I went to one mic and somebody's like, are you going up tonight? And I was like, no. I like didn't even consider it. And this one comic, he's like, he had seen me the last time. He's like, you should go up. You should do it. And then so I went up and I had like a few better jokes. And as soon as I got a laugh, I was like, okay, this is it. That's what we're doing.
You can't ever judge anything based on the first set. Mm-mm. You just can't. And I actually mean that, if it went bad and if it went really well. Because like, it's just one of those things. It's it's gonna hit you eventually that this thing is a hard thing to do. Yeah. And for some people, it's like on the first set. Yeah. For some people, like they start strong and then they start feeling it like later on with the bombs. My thing is I love seeing someone bomb who's never bombed, because I can just feel the humbleness. Coming in, I just go, you need this. Yeah. You need to feel like this is a hard thing. You can't always win.
They come back and tell you the audience sucks.
Oh yeah.
That's what I've seen. Like when people bomb versus like the audience sucks and like everybody else kills. You're like, okay, sometimes it's not.
Yeah. And sometimes it really, and what you said just there about like how did everyone else do on the show? Yeah. Because there are some what I call like hell shows that it's like even the best of the best aren't doing the best. But it's like, okay, it's probably the crowd at that point. Yeah. If surefire people are not hitting for whatever reason. Definitely. So the first set you said was not good. How did you process?
How did I process? Well, literally, even like the going up, like the few days beforehand, I was like anxious. I was thinking about it all the time. Yeah. I was like on the edge. And then I think I literally blacked out. Like I didn't have a drop of alcohol, but I like don't really remember it well at all. Like it's like I just completely, it's a blackout.
How many people were there?
Like like a good amount. I'd say like the open mic in Kelowna is like usually there's a good crowd there for sure. It's like a free show, and the guy does a good job of advertising it and stuff, and it's been going for a long time. So, but yeah, quite a few people. I don't even remember much. All I remember it coming off of it. The guy who runs it told me, he's like, "That's it. You did it. It's your first set. It's over. It's done." That's what he told me, and.
I love saying that to people because you're not saying good job, you crushed.
Exactly.
You're not saying like you're just saying you did a hard thing.
Yeah.
And you got through it. Mm-hmm. It's one of the best things you can say to a comic. Yeah. We did it.
You did it.
Like, it's just a fact. It's just a fact. You did it.
And that's most of the time with comedy at the end of it, like the time and like putting in so much time and just doing set after set after set. It's like you did it. You've done it again.
You've done it again.
And there you go. You should feel proud of that, you know?
Ooh. Well, yeah. And so you did the second set and then you just decided to stick with it. From there?
Yeah, I just stuck with it because there's like a weekly mic there, and then it was like a couple weeks in, I did like a comedy contest that they do, like a blood sport. My God. Like they do in heats where it's like you have to like 3 comics go do like 3-minute sets, and people vote from that, and then
my God, that's then, terrifying, Amanda. After a couple weeks into comedy.
Well, it's like it's kind of like it's like a bit of like an initiation to do weekend shows then in that area.
I see.
Yeah, a little bit, and it's like fun because it's their short sets, so it's like accessible for like comedian or like new comics to like do like oh yeah, you have one joke that works, that'll be 3 minutes.
Well, it makes you choose the ones you really want.
Exactly. Yeah. So and then I just kept doing it. I don't know, it just like locked into the right time of my life of what I needed and like what I suddenly realized that I could do, and like people gave me nice feedback and they laughed. I was like, I love this.
Yeah. And then like it's always really nice when like that thing you want is also something you're good at.
Yeah.
You know, like it turns out that you're actually good at it, and you're like, oh, this worked out for me big time. Okay. And so I think because I could just keep going and asking you questions. Yeah. But I think we could just like start the assumption segment.
Okay, please. Yeah, I think you've been wanting to jump into this.
I want to jump into assumptions.
So much about you.
But actually, for context first, you've been in Halifax for how long?
Technically, I got here at the end of November, but then I left. So I would say like 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
Oh my God, only 3 months. That's insane.
Yeah, first trimester.
First trimester.
I could abort it all right now. It'd still be legal.
Actually, I will wait for assumptions for Brian because Brian sent me an assumption. And I want him to be here for it. So I am actually going to first ask you. So the thing that's fascinating about you is when you filled out the form, and I had heard this about you through the grapevine too, that you traveled across Canada by yourself.
Yeah.
In your car?
I did that. Yeah.
Why? Why would you do that?
Well, I wanted to move somewhere. I wanted to move somewhere. And I knew I wanted to move somewhere in Canada because I wanted to be able to do comedy and like keep working on that. And then when I was thinking of places to move, I was like, well, if I'm going to drive even to like Toronto, I was like, that's pretty much like driving across Canada. I was like, I want to drive across Canada now, you know, like I'm going to do that. And then I was like, okay, so at the end is Halifax. I may as well stop there and live there, you know? Oh. And then, it just kind of became all these like little things. And I was like, oh, if I drive and if I take time to do it, I could like do shows along the way. Not really thinking in my head, like what kind of undertaking that actually was, like mentally mostly. And just like in my position of being so new, like
that's like, a bold move.
It was, and looking back, I'm like, I was insane because people are like, so you're touring? I'm like, no, don't call it that. That's like the worst thing to say.
That's not a tour.
What is that meme? It's open mics aren't a tour.
Open mics are not. And oh my God, I always find it so funny when people like list their dates.
Yeah. Because, like, I'll be at this open mic on this night. I'll be at this.
And they have friends that like actually want to go see them. And I'm like, I think I did that once in my entire like time doing stand up, putting dates all down. Yeah. For people.
I was like, I'll earn that one day. But yeah, so it was more just like, it was because I had traveled, I'd gone to Alberta once in my first 2 months of doing comedy. And then somebody asked, like, oh, are you doing any shows there? And I was like, they didn't even pop in my head as a consideration that I could just go to a different city and do shows. And so then then I was like, okay, if I'm driving across the whole country, I was like, it'd be cool to see as many scenes as possible and just like meet people and stuff. So I ended up after I did it, I was like, I realized that my whole road trip was just like trying to get every person in Canada to like me, which I like. I was like, that's what comedians do anyways, for the most part.
That's so funny.
But I was like,
went on a people pleasing trip.
Yeah, people pleasing trip.
The people pleasing tour.
But the weird thing is, like, I'm not a people pleaser.
You're not?
Not really. Not like in my relationships necessarily.
Oh, I want to dive into that. That's so fascinating. So not in relationship. Okay, so the choice to drive across Canada, did it have anything to do with like self-exploration?
Oh, totally.
Because whenever I hear someone do this, I just go like, you're having an eat, pray, love moment.
Yeah.
Like, you know, where you're like, throw caution to the wind or whatever and just like go off on your own. Because it's like the on your own thing that would scare me the most.
Oh,
I think out of all of it.
Sleeping in my car, I was praying.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah, it was definitely like self-exploration, and I'm a pretty independent person just for the most part. And so it was just kind of like, I want to do this and it would be cool to do it with somebody else, but I am not the type of planner to do logistics to like have anybody else involved most of the time in my life. So I was like, I'm going to move here and I'm going to do this. And so I'm going to do it over this span of time. Yeah. And that's just what's going to happen. And whatever will happen in between will happen. And
That's wild. Yeah. And how do you safely sleep in a car?
I don't have that answer. I think I'm just lucky.
Are there any tips on like how you can?
I mean, I guess like you want to try. Like I got some of those things to like block out your windows.
Oh yes, okay.
Yeah, so you have that a little bit. I mean, definitely one thing I didn't consider, and it was like my first couple nights was it was like super cold, and I had a can of chili for dinner, and I didn't crack the windows that night. I don't know if you're picking up my what I'm wafting towards you.
I'm picking it up.
Air ventilation is really great in a car.
Oh man,
that was funny. But I don't know. Otherwise, I mean, there's just like a little bit of like just best guesstimating on where is going to be a good place to sleep. There was a really cool app that I used called iOverlander that tells you like good car camping and like urban camping spots that like give you kind of reviews. So that was actually like one of the like best things I got from a friend of mine in Revelstoke who was like, this is great. It's kind of like a social media GPS kind of sharing thing.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like people like they put the GPS coordinates. They're like, we slept here. There was this place close by. Nobody came. Like there's police or whatever.
That's
Walmart.
really good.
Yeah. They're like, or like it says like, does it have Wi-Fi or does it have like this available, toilets, blah, blah, blah. So it's like a really great app that was so very helpful. And like you can see it just like all across, like everywhere, just all these little dots of like good places to stop. So that was cool.
I think Brian Otter's here. Brian, you here? Ooh. Shove that door open. Ooh. Holy shit. Okay. So, traveling across. Okay. So sleeping in a car. What did your friends and family think of the decision to just up and go? Were they worried about you?
Oh yeah. Like my parents for sure. My dad is a very big worrier, very big emotional worrier. And so like the like weeks leading up, he's just like, he'd look at me across the room. He's just like, you know, but he's also like super, very helpful and like is like a woodsy, outdoorsy guy and like is like resourceful and like that kind of stuff. And so we've always shared that kind of like between us. So he's like helping me get ready and like get my car kind of situated and stuff. So very supportive. Honestly, people are just like, hell yeah, cool. Yeah, do it. Like a little shocked, but also not shocked kind of just because who I am. And
were you someone who was like, I'm asking about your data plan. What kind of data plan did you have?
Oh, yeah. Went over that so much.
Like my first thought is like, what the fuck? Like, if I just all of a sudden made that choice, I would just be like, what kind of data plan can I get?
I think I have like 20 gigs a month.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think I went over. I think I went over that month, and so I like paid like $20 extra or something.
Were you like super attached to your phone?
Definitely, yeah. Like that was like every day because it's like I'm looking for a place. I'm listening to music. I'm mapping. I'm texting somebody. I'm on Instagram because I'm by myself, so I'm like talking with everybody that I know or like all that kind of stuff, you know. So just doing Instagram stories because I'm by myself. So that's my vlogging version. But yeah, just definitely really burned my phone out nicely.
Holy smokes, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Did you also stay at like Airbnbs too?
I stay just only when I got here. Oh, okay. No, I stayed at a hotel in Moose Jaw in Saskatchewan. And that was only because I literally drove through a blizzard that like shut down both the highways and all the roads. And there was like 5 feet of snow and like the power was out. It was insane. That's a whole story. But yeah, I stayed at one hotel there and then I stayed at some Airbnbs here before I moved technically to a place.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but no, not across otherwise. I just had friends and family and Walmart.
That's crazy. What a crazy. So looking back at your trip across Canada, do you have any regrets? Are you like so happy that you did it? Like what do you think of that? Because that's such an insane thing to do.
Thank you.
In a good way. Insane. Yeah. It's very remarkably insane.
Thank you. I don't regret very much at all.
Hell yeah.
Like it truly was like I've had ups and downs, mental health, and it truly was like the best couple months that I've had in my past like 7 years ever.
Just being able to see all these places.
Yeah, just like I think it's something to do just with like forward momentum. I was like, I'm continuously moving to a new novel thing. Yeah. And I have a reasonable enough system and like kind of cushion of like some money and some people and some kind of ideas of what I want to do. And also the idea too, comedy was like super grounding because it's like everywhere I went, I felt like I had a purpose to go there and I had a show to do and I had people to meet and I had people to like reach out and text to. And then also everywhere you go with like comedy, you like go to a show and you just like feel like you know people already, like when it comes to meeting comedians.
It's like an instant bond.
Yeah, it's an instant bond. So it's like, so that was like helpful for like the like loneliness side of things and stuff. So, but to answer your question, no, I don't really have any regrets at all.
That's phenomenal.
It was great.
Would you recommend it to anyone in their late 20s who is like...
Totally.
Yeah?
I mean, yeah. But you like everybody has to do it like their way. That's the thing.
Yeah, well, that's just it.
And I don't plan. And there was a few times that were stressful. Like I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna sleep right now. What am I doing?
Oh my God. I this is like personality types for you because like that would just stress me the fuck out. Like where you were probably like excited by that idea, I would be so stressed. I fucking love a home base so much.
Yeah.
Like more than most people.
Yeah.
I just love the idea of like, I want to travel the world, but I want to come home every night too, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Oh, totally. Well, the thing is like at the other end, I am a big homebody as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, super domestic. Like I love like baking. I love like cooking and I love so I didn't have a lot of those things like in that time. And yeah, the home base, like you kind of like, I carved out like a little squirrel home base in my car and like that was kind of it. So yeah, I don't know. It was good because I think it was for a set period of time and because I was constantly moving forward to a new thing. So that was able to keep me like just excited and like novel and stuff and
keep you going kind of
thing.
And Halifax was the destination and this is where you are now.
And that's where I am.
And here we are. We have an Amanda Rose.
It's an Amanda Rose.
It's an Amanda Rose, not Amber Rose.
Okay. Yeah, that got switched up recently.
I like died because I messaged because I thought like it was like a joke.
Yeah.
I thought they did it on purpose.
Imagine putting a joke on a comedy
poster.
Which is unheard of, you know.
And everyone, Brian Otter is here too. Brian, say hi.
Hi everyone, what's up?
Brian's here. Yay.
I wasn't gonna miss this.
I know, right? Well, but I don't remember if it was you or Baker it was probably both of you told me you got to have Amanda on. And
I think both of us. Actually, while we were here together, we said you have to have.
Oh yeah, well yeah, I was gonna be there that one night.
Oh yeah.
But that was probably when I was on my burnout end from the trip. I was like hiding.
You were tired of us. You spent the weekend with me and Baker, and you were like,
we did that too. Yeah.
Fuck these dudes.
That's so funny. Well, and I put the call out, and I always regret open calls because then I end up like booking 5 podcasts, and I'm like, bitch, you're supposed to be on a self-care break. What are you doing? But I'm.
Oh, do you want me to leave? Okay, we can get out.
I get nervous to ask people because I never want anyone to feel obligated to come on the show. And I know most people would want to come on the show, but for some strange reason, I still have it in my head that like people are people pleasers and they say yes out of obligation, and I don't want to trap anyone into a podcast. So rather than asking directly, I just put a call out and I go, well, I hope the people I want to have on reply, and you were one of those people. So
yeah, I feel that.
So I'm glad you're here now. Now that Brian's here, we're gonna get into the first segment. And I'm excited about this one because Brian is part of this segment because Brian sent me an assumption. We are going to do the assumption segment. And this is what I'm going to say, kind of just an assumption that I have about you based on what I don't know you that well, based on what I know. And I reached out to Brian. And Brian, are you cool?
Are you mad at me? Why are you calling me Brian?
Are you cool?
She's calling you Brian.
No, I know. I feel like I disappointed you. I was 20 minutes late. I'm sorry.
Brian Otter. Are you cool if I read your assumption to Amanda?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, go for it.
So Brian's assumption was that you would rather spend time cross-stitching than fucking. I loved it so much. It was so perfectly worded.
It's interesting specifically that you chose cross-stitching because that's like a cross that I bear that I haven't been able to do.
Just like coming.
That you haven't been able to do.
Well, no, like I've tried to, it's one of those things that I like want to be able to do and like be good at and like do. And I've tried it multiple times, but it just never clicks in my brain as a thing. Anyways, that's actually probably pretty true.
Or I guess you could replace that with like a very like wholesome hobby craft thing.
Yeah, that's definitely how I've spent my last 7 years. Easily, because it's just a matter of like at the end of the day I'm like, I know that I will feel joy from this.
Well, no, exactly.
And I'll have a product at the end that I can do something with.
Oh my God, that's great. Yeah, why take the chance?
I think that's the mentality of OnlyFans. If I do this, I'll have a product that I can then market.
Capitalism. Capitalism seeping into the world.
Fuck, that's funny. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, it's good. I like that one.
So a bang on assumption. Are you someone who...
Not so much banging, but...
Oh. You're a single girl, right?
Single girl.
Do
gal.
you care about... do you care about men? Is really what I want to ask.
Yeah,
Is it something that like is dating something you want to do?
I do it occasionally.
Yeah.
I try.
Yeah.
I am very impatient.
Yeah.
Exceedingly impatient and exceedingly picky. And I've had a lot of blips in my life where it's like I could go and like hang out with this one dude and then I'm like, or I could hang out with these people who actually mean something to me. So I do that. And it just kind of, I keep doing that.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I don't know. I have not consistently dated anybody in 7 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I have been like fully single for 7 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
Oof, that makes me feel a bit better about 11 years.
Look at us comedy girlies go.
Our years of single rhyme with each other, 7 and 11.
I end up there a lot. That's where most of my joy has come from, anyways.
7-Eleven. Too funny.
The only kids I care about are Sour Patch.
Ding, 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 ding.
The only kids that you want.
Only kids.
Fuck.
Well, don't do that. But
that's hilarious. Do you ever just like forget to date? Because that's what happens to me. I just forget.
Yeah. Well,
I just forget.
I think at a certain point, there's just certain personalities or people who exist in the world that you're like, you have to try to date to make it a thing.
Yes.
And you have to work on whatever levels that are holding you back in that capacity. But for a long time, I literally just went through life being like, I don't like the idea of searching for somebody because that felt like,
feels very weird.
It feels weird. Like I'm on the hunt for a boyfriend. I'm on the prowl. Like I just hated that idea in every aspect of it. And I was like, well, no, if you like, you should be friends with somebody or know somebody around, or like
Absolutely.
It should kind of try to happen organically because then that they fit in your life better.
Absolutely.
And then you just know you have like a foundation and stuff. So I was like, and if it's right, it's right. If it's right, it's right. And then it was never right. So I'm like, well, okay.
Yeah.
I put some work in.
It's kind of one of those things that, I feel like you have to put effort in without caring. If that makes
it's the no makeup look.
It's the no makeup. Yeah, exactly. Because you have to try a little bit. I mean, especially at a certain age. I'm older than you, but like I need to, because I can't just meet someone through people because people don't do things at my age.
Yeah.
They don't. They go home and they go to bed.
I think at the end of the day, it's not necessarily so much about trying in the way that it's like setting up a certain amount of like habits on how you view dating and how you view yourself in relation to other people.
Yeah, that's true.
That if you do those things enough and you have enough of those habits of like being more open or being more like to say yes to something or like being a little more patient, that's when it's more likely to happen.
Exactly.
But then it's like always like, I feel like in every sitcom they go like, it'll happen when you least expect it. And somebody and they're like, okay, I'm not expecting it.
I know.
I'm not expecting it.
Wink, wink. I don't want a boyfriend. Wink.
Yeah. So you go for years like that. Like, I don't want a boyfriend. And then you don't get one. You're like, oh shit, it worked.
I don't know how that happens to people. I love it. All right. So I said, because like I see, like I think you're like a very beautiful woman, but you seem like you're low maintenance in the sense that you're not a glamazon, but you're stunningly beautiful. So are you? You have beautiful skin and hair.
Thank you.
I think that's the ingredient. I think to like natural beauty is like good skin, because like your hair is gorgeous.
Yeah. Skin's all over my body, and hair is too. So. That makes me up.
I guess without skin, that would be pretty scary.
Yeah. She's got ugly skin, but she is breathtaking. Have you seen her back skin?
Oh my god, that's funny. But is your hair naturally like that? I guess curly. Oh, it's beautiful.
It's funny too that you say that, because this only in the past year have I actually like embraced it.
Really?
This. Yeah, it's like a kind of a new thing.
That's a thing with curly haired girls. They try to get, and I think it's just that like grass is greener thing.
Yeah.
Like curly haired girls just want like straight hair, and like straight hair girls like desperately want curly hair.
I feel like there's some layers too of just like simple maintenance. Like for the most part, if you have straight hair, aside from somebody being like, oh, it's greasy today or something, it usually just looks fine.
Yeah.
Whereas curly hair, I would say I speak for every curly haired person out there that it's like some days it's just like whack. like you have no real control over day to day what it's going to be and stuff. And I think also growing up like at the time we did of like whatever, the early aughts or something, like straight hair was like it, like you had to, like that was a thing. And so like
the Avril Lavigne days,
and
pin straight,
so I always Princess Diaried my hair, just
Did you find like a hair routine that like is like just works perfect for the curls?
Yeah, and I just kind of had to lean into it too, because I feel like the more you like wear your hair curly, the more it like will be better, and like it itself will like train your curls, like,
train those curls. The scrunching technique. Scrunch.
There's a whole thing.
This is a beauty podcast now.
I do have a full routine that I go through. But.
Ooh, I love that. But yeah, so I see you as like, the word would be low maintenance. In other words, like you don't have to do much to be stunning. This is a compliment. And also an assumption. Is that true? How long does it take you to get ready? You're going out somewhere. Probably, I'm going to say you're a half-hour girl.
I guess it depends on what, like, it depends on how I'm going to wear my hair. But yeah, I'd say half hour if I'm under that. Like, I don't put a lot of makeup on. Yeah. I wear something. It depends. It depends.
It all depends, yeah.
I also have.
But that's a good place to be.
Yeah.
Because you can just like get up and go whenever.
Yeah, it depends, but you should see the amount of serums I have. It's in like the maintenance is upkept.
Oh, girl.
Like I go deep into the skincare.
As soon as you said you should see the serums I have, I was like, so she's less of a girl and more of a witch.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is what it is. We have all these. If you go in my bathroom, you'll see it on the top of the shelf. Yeah. These little like bottles. They look like potions.
Oh yeah.
And there's so many of them because you can't just have one. Because they all do different things.
Yeah, and there's colors.
So you need like 12.
And there's steps. And you do this one day, and you do this the other day, you do this in nighttime, you do this in daytime.
Yep.
It's a whole thing. It's
you can't layer certain ones.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But like taking care of the skin is like, I still know women. And I fucking hate when gorgeous women post on Instagram, oh, I slept with my makeup on. It's just like, what? Like, you can't do that, but they can because they somehow get away with it and it still looks great. But like, I just cringe because I definitely used to not take care of my skin, like no SPF, not washing makeup off at night. Like, and now I'm like, that's the bare basics, you guys. Just cleanse, get rid of the makeup, wear sunscreen.
Yeah.
Sunscreen was something that I never fucking wore up until like I want to say 2 years ago was when I started. It's really bad.
I think something took over the internet during that time about SPF, because I think I'm also in that. Or my mom was actually kind of on it for a long time, and she would tell me to do that because she was like, because I tanned in like whatever the 70s
Right.
or something, and I regret it or something. But yeah, so I maybe started like maybe 3 or 4 years ago SPFing, but
That's good though.
Yeah, but then and the anti-aging, the retinoling and stuff like that.
And what do men do? Brian, what's your skincare routine?
Smoke a lot of cigarettes and forget to drink water.
My God, I hate friggin'
So
hate
that's
it.
like a dry sauna
Yeah.
and then dryer.
I'm just trying to be as least moist as possible.
Do you
So
wash?
you're like jerky.
do you cleanse your face with like
No,
face?
yeah, I'm a diva. Like I do.
Oh,
I,
really?
I have like 3 face washes.
Yeah,
I have like 2
love it.
moisturizers.
Oh,
I have
wow.
a beard oil.
I think men are getting on the train. I think it's,
They should.
Yeah. Yeah.
They-
He's only got half the face to deal with, though.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
but I probably put more products in my beard than you do on your body.
That's hilarious. How to
We should
navigate
count
that.
this up. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe men do more than I think, but it's a process.
Not all men, Sarah.
Not all
Not
men. Not all men skincare. All right. Okay, so I've already called you beautiful. So this next assumption is I'm going to assume because you are an outdoorsy girl and you're also stunningly gorgeous, that guys must love you on dating apps. And like, because here's the thing, there's a lot of adventure guys on dating apps. And they
try to put that out there.
they want girls that can hike and kayak and camp,
Yeah.
and you do all those things. From what I've seen on your Instagram, I've scrolled through.
I've done them.
You're outside a lot.
I like it. Yeah.
You're one with nature.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a quality that men love. Is that true?
Sure.
Oh, no.
I mean,
What?
I'm saying sure they love.
No,
What are you
men,
gonna say?
men love an outdoor girl.
This is probably just from me having weird friends, but I feel like the fact that you are a pretty girl who likes doing that, the outdoorsy dudes are going to be intimidated because they don't want you to be better at it than them.
Oh, she's too outdoorsy.
You don't want these man hands
Yeah.
handling an act.
They want a girl who thinks they're outdoorsy and then shows up and they have to show them what to do. Amanda shows up like, I got this. And they're like, what am I supposed to do?
Oh, so it might turn around and go the other way a little bit then.
I feel like that actually might be a better assumption of that.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, then I'm good. I, in general, have no patience for any of that. Actually, on either end, which is why I'm terrible on dating apps, because I'm like, I don't really give that much of a shit about all of your hobbies. I
Yeah.
don't need to know all of them. I don't need us to all match up and do all this kind of stuff. There's just more of like a there could be any kind of number of like calculation of those hobbies or like certain types of
Right.
combination of them. I don't know. So if you say men go crazy for that, I don't know if I have any
Interesting.
data to
Oh,
offer that.
I just assumed because
Yeah.
it seems like the general universal type that a guy wants. Very chill, low maintenance. Okay, but this is the other assumption. Well, let's get into my this is my favorite assumption that I have on my list. I said you look like a chill girl, but internally you are very not chill.
Oh yeah. That's probably pretty spot on.
So you give the air of like you teach yoga, you're outdoorsy. You've like there's this very like airy, calming presence about you.
I am an air sign, so
Oh. Don't tell me what one. Don't tell me what one. I'll guess at the end of the podcast.
Oh, I love that.
But internally, you are maybe not as chill.
No, I'd say I'm definitely not as chill inside. I think there's different pockets and time periods that I will go through that I'm more chill and about certain things and stuff. And I definitely used to be a lot less chill outwardly too, and I think I've reined it back in a little bit. Mm-hmm. I am a great actor.
Okay, so you're someone who masks.
I mask a little bit occasionally here and there.
Yeah.
No, definitely got a lot of stuff popping around in there.
There's some stuff going on in there.
Yeah, I don't know. So I guess in different aspects you could say she's chill, but like other things definitely not.
Is anxiety one of your many things?
Oh yeah, right up there.
Anxiety?
Yeah.
And then I know that you suffer with what I call the big black dog depression.
Extra double shot depresso.
Because you've posted about it on Instagram and stories and stuff like that. And so depression, anxiety, anything else? What else you got? Start the tally.
Holy Trinity.
Holy Trinity.
Yeah, we need to complete the.
Well, mine's ADHD, anxiety, depression.
Okay. I don't know what my third thing is.
Hell yeah,
I
mine.
definitely don't have ADHD. I wouldn't say so.
No, you don't give that air.
Maybe I'm just a bitch.
Be very, very be very lucky that you don't. It's hell.
No,
It's hell.
I don't know. You can. It's a superhero. It's a superpower sometimes.
Oh yeah, when it works in your favor, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, you just channel it.
Yeah.
If I
Like
didn't have
an X-Men.
ADHD, I wouldn't forget to kill myself. Probably for the best.
You want a candy for that?
Brian, is that a joke?
It is now.
Can I just say you're welcome for Intoxicated and all these joke ideas that you get from being here?
That's so funny.
Fuck, that's hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah. I went to kill myself and I got distracted.
Exactly.
Oh my god. Okay, so okay. We'll get into the mental illness stuff later.
Love it. Procrastination.
You can't
Let's do that. That's my third.
Oh, is it procrastination?
That's probably definitely one
Yeah?
of them. But I was just saying, I was like, yeah, we can just deal with the mental health stuff later. We'll deal with that later.
Let's put that on the burner. Okay, I also said, and this plays into the people pleasing thing, because I think in your application you said that you were a try-hard.
Yeah.
And by that, I wrote down, I feel like maybe when you were younger, you were a teacher's pet. In school.
I don't know if
Kind
you know
of like
that I
a
was homeschooled.
I didn't know that.
I have a joke about it, but
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I was homeschooled until grade 10.
No way. Okay.
Yeah. So that's a full different other filter on across all of
So
me.
a teacher's daughter.
Yeah. Anyway.
Was it your parents that taught you?
Yeah,
I don't know
my
how
mom taught me.
homeschooling works.
There's
I
a lot-
assume it's parents.
There's a lot of different versions of alternative schooling, which people now call it and stuff. So I was homeschooled officially with a curriculum that my mom got from whatever school district that we had about what I had to fulfill, check boxes off. Until grade 6, and then 7, 8, 9, I would do some online kind of curriculum with actual teachers and go into this one school to do tests and stuff. But for the most part, it's more self-directed, I guess you could say.
No way.
Yeah, and then I did high school 10, 11, 12.
So you were homeschooled when you were early on in life.
Yeah.
And then they put you in high school.
Well, I wanted to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that transition like?
It was great. I had the best time.
Did ya?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm an extrovert for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I had friends. I played soccer, so I knew people, and my family went to church, so I knew people there, and there was a small town, so I knew a lot of people already.
Oh, okay.
And I was just kind of I was like, I need a change, because if you don't know, that's a theme with me, that I can't do the same thing continuously for a number of years. So I was like, I need to be somewhere else.
Except for being single.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Nice. So then, it was great. I had a great time. Best 3 years.
Oh, that's
Didn't get
good.
sick of it at all.
So
I was co-valedictorian.
Oh,
Can
okay.
I ask a question? Because I did knew you were homeschooled, but I don't know.
I did not know this.
What happened that your parents decided to
Yes.
decide to homeschool?
What
your kid?
happened to you?
I'm super
No,
curious
what
with that too.
But for parents to go, oh yeah, the public schooling system's not good enough for my kid. Usually something happens.
Usually
so
it's
either they
bullying.
have alternative lifestyles, which I know is not the case with your parents. But it's
Or
if-
their kids
one
get
of your parents a
bullied.
teacher and they were like, fuck this, I don't want to do this anymore, so I'm going to teach my own kids and stay home.
None of those things. So what it was I have 2 older brothers, and my mom, when they were putting my oldest brother into school, I think initially, so my parents are religious, my family's religious, and they wanted to put him into this Christian school, and then he didn't get in. And then it wasn't that my mom didn't want to put him in regular school. She just more had this idea that she was she had actually wanted to be a teacher when she was younger. She was a nurse instead, but she was just
okay.
she's like, I'd like to spend extra time with my kids. I'd like to give this homeschooling thing a try. And so it kind of happened organically in that way.
That's interesting.
And we weren't it wasn't a super religious schooling by any means. Yeah. And then so it was just my brother and then my next brother and then my other one. And my oldest brother went to school in grade 8. And it was his choice. He wanted to go because he had friends. And then middle brother, he was homeschooled all the way through. It just worked out well for him. And then I chose
That's
in grade
wild
10.
to me, the idea of homeschooling all the way through and never having that school experience. That's wild.
Yeah.
Most of my nightmares and dreams are about fucking junior high and high school. Still to this day, I have dreams about not having my timetable to get to class on time.
Wild.
Yeah, it's like a constant recurring anxiety dream.
Damn.
That oh my God, I don't know what class I'm in. I don't know what room number I'm in. And it's the first day of school. Or it's, all of a sudden I realized that I've been missing a class that I was supposed to be taking for like a year. And like, it's the weirdest shit.
I definitely have some of those from like university.
Is that why you're such a workaholic? Because you're so paranoid about not knowing where to be that you just fill up your time with things that you always know where you have to
I'm
be?
doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this.
I mean, it could be. It could be like just like with the ADHD thing, like the fear of like forgetting something, missing something, having something fall to the wayside.
Did you know you were ADHD when you were in school?
No, I don't think I knew what it was.
Yeah.
In school, I think I had a friend who had it.
It was like only the kids that were like, they're like
Yeah.
bouncing off the wall. They're like injecting him with Ritalin.
Well, what's interesting is that like my mom got diagnosed in her 60s.
Really?
Which explains so much about her and how I was raised with a mother who had both postpartum depression and adult ADHD undiagnosed.
That's a fun combo.
So fun.
Yeah.
So fun. And then by the time she was diagnosed, I hate saying it this way, but it was kind of like, not much you can do. Not much you can do about it at this point. I think she tried antidepressants or something, but I don't think she was ever actually on ADHD meds. Yeah. For me, it's like, I think when I hit like 27, I started kind of thinking I might have it. And then I didn't get diagnosed until 34.
Was that like
34 or 35.
Was that really helpful for you?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Well, because now I have a plan.
Yeah, totally.
Like I know how well ADHD meds work because I know people who are on them. And apparently it's life-changing. Apparently it's like meth.
You haven't done it though.
I have not been on ADHD meds yet. I'm currently on antidepressants.
Interesting.
But I'm looking to add to my Rolodex of meds. I'm gonna add to the family soon and get on a stimulant and see, because now that the SADs are kind of managed a bit better, I'm like, okay, well now let's get the focus in check.
What if you're gonna be too powerful though?
There's no such thing. There's no such thing as too powerful. The amount of shit I get done already being ADHD, I'm like, watch out, everybody.
Yeah, no kidding.
Once I'm medicated. But are you medicated for anything?
No.
No?
Just take like some hormonal supplements.
Oh.
Yeah, I brew all my problems inside like a witch. I have a teeny tiny witch inside of me. It's like, oh, too much estrogen there.
Oh my god! Was that like a blood test? Like they saw you were like lacking?
Yeah, and like some symptomatic things with like life. And yeah.
Oh well, hormones is like that's like
They're wild.
People overlook that all the
They're
time.
so powerful.
They really are
so powerful,
dude. Yes, woman. Yes.
I like being called dude. I feel like everybody calls everybody dude in comedy. That's like
I say dude to literally everybody.
Yeah,
everyone's a dude in my mind. But you're right. TikTok just keeps telling me get your hormones tested because like there's so many like physical symptoms that you might have that are just a result of like a hormonal imbalance. So
totally.
You gotta get that shit looked at. Whatever. Okay, so you kind of were you a teacher's pet in your homeschooling or
No, I wasn't in the homeschooling. I don't even think I wasn't when I was in school. I don't think I was maybe a little bit of a teacher's pet. I just kind of was more middle of the road.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I tried
just
hard.
like a good student.
I was a good student. I wasn't amazing, but I was good. I'd do the stuff. I don't know. I would err onto class clown occasionally because I had extra time, but I'd never like break rules or like
right.
Oh, but if actually my homeschooling in a way, when I went into school, I would just be more like, I think this is a dumb way that you're doing it, or like to a teacher.
Oh my god, that's funny.
I definitely had problems with authority.
Oh,
but that was the only time when I would be like, ran into some problems, and that actually happened more in university that I'd run into problems like that. But it was just more like I was like, I think this is silly, and would like do it a different way or whatever.
Do you see yourself as a leader in a sense?
Sometimes, yeah.
Like a born leader kind of thing? Yeah.
Occasionally. Some people have told me that in passing.
You're like, I want to do this better. I think I can do this better than you. Yeah. No, I like that.
Just an ego. I don't know.
No. Someone has to do that though.
Yeah.
You know, someone has to do it. The other thing I said, this was my last assumption, and this is not at all a slam. I actually mean this as a high compliment because as someone who tries to do this, I just assume that like most of your clothes are like from like cool, trendy vintage stores that like are like one of a kind. items because I've never seen you and gone, I've seen that shirt at Dynamite, or I've seen I've never everything you wear is very aesthetically pleasing. But I feel like it's from a vintage store. What is that?
I am wearing a shirt from Dynamite.
Shut the fuck up. Really? Are you really? Oh my God. Okay.
But I'm sweating so much, I'm not going to take my hoodie off.
That's hilarious.
But no, okay. So for the most part, yeah, I would say that's true. Like I went through a very long period of time of just only thrifting clothes, like religiously, pretty much, just for like environmental and like self whatever reasons. And then only in the past like a couple years have I was like, if I go to the mall and like buy something, I was like, it's like crazy. And I do that like a couple times a year. Maybe.
Okay, got you.
I'll buy like a new thing and it's like, what?
But I get the sense you're probably good at thrifting then.
Ooh, I do
because you find really cool things.
You have to do it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't really love like cool vintage consignment-y stores.
Oh, you don't?
No, I find them more overwhelming if they're curated because I don't like the idea of looking at like 50 shirts that are like cool that I could like and they're way overpriced.
Oh yeah.
I'd rather put my own time in and go to like a store, like thrift store after thrift store after thrift store, and then find something that I found and that I did it. You know.
That's very true. I think there's this weird thing where it's like there's these vintage shops that are like vintage shop, but it's like so overpriced clothes.
Yeah. And no, I mean sometimes
ridiculously overpriced.
Like it's kind of it's the market, it's the world, it's what they do, and people will pay it, and it's like trendy, and so they capitalize off it. So I don't begrudge them, and it works for some people because many people buy it and use it and stuff. But I just
it's for sure a convenience thing because like there's certain people who want to like upcycle clothes. They don't want to buy from like random stores and stuff.
Yeah.
But they're also busy people, so they're like, I can't go thrifting hour after hour after hour.
Yeah.
So if somebody else that I know already dresses cool and knows fashion is going out and finding the things and cutting out the time, I'm willing to pay that extra $30
totally
for that shirt, right?
It's like anything, it's cost versus your own time, which is a cost as well. But I just like the process of it.
Yeah.
The
If you spend 2 hours, if you make, let's say $20 an hour and you spend 2 hours looking, that's $40 that you're losing. So if you can spend $30 on a shirt and know that it's not from H&M or somewhere shitty and it's a cool piece of clothing that somebody goes, this is a cool piece of clothing, you go, fuck yeah.
And if it's unique, that's the coolest thing too.
Yeah.
Totally.
Having something that's like just one of a kind kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's very worth it. Interesting. Okay, those were my assumptions. I don't think we did too bad.
Can I have another assumption?
Yeah,
yes.
My assumption is Amanda feels like the person who would like go to an old folks home to acquire skills. Like you go hang out with the old people to learn things. You know what
I'm just trying to think about that.
Like you go there and you're doing puzzles and then you see somebody quilt and you go, oh, how do you do that? And they're like, you could actually make pants like this.
Yeah, I definitely would do it. Yeah. I don't know if I trust them. I don't know if I'd go to an old folks home. I don't know. Okay,
do you like old people?
I would look to older people for advice and to learn things, but I don't know if I'd go to the old folks home for that specifically. You're like, they're there because they're not doing that well anymore.
That's hilarious. That's such a specific assumption, Brian.
Yeah, I love that.
It's the vibe she gives off.
Hangs with old people. Wants to learn from old people vibes.
I've done that a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that. That works. Sure.
I mean,
but I'm smarter about it than you think.
I like older people better than like kids. Any day. I'd hang out with old people over kids any day.
I go back and forth.
Yeah.
I like kicking a kid around sometimes. You can't do that as much with old people. Like, you know, like I love not bullying kids, but just like calling them dumb and they're like, ah. You're like, yeah, you are, right? And they love it.
You're a little dumbass.
Yeah.
That's funny. Any other assumptions, Brian?
No, that's all.
This is your time for us to debunk, honey. What about Amanda? Are you clean? You like a neat freak?
Yeah. Okay, so clean, yes. Tidy, no.
Okay.
So that makes sense. Like I like cleaning and I like a clean environment and I like the actual process of knowing things are clean and I'm clean, but everything in my life is like and like
okay, gotcha.
I have to see everything to kind of know where things are and yeah.
Oh, that's an ADHD thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you sure or not?
Yeah, that's the object
out
permanence.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, that's
well, it's not so much that I forget about it. I just like it.
Yeah.
I like being like,
That's fair.
I don't know.
I definitely forget about things if I don't see them. Yeah. Drawers are not my friend. Cupboards are not. I actually think if I ever like have like if I ever like have a dream home, it would be like clear cupboards, like glass cupboards, so I can see what's in there, kind of thing. Yeah. All right. On to the next segment.
Ooh.
One of my favorites. Actually, well, I like all of them. I don't know why I'm picking favorites. I like all my segments, but I want to know if you have a rant.
Rant. Okay, when you sent me these things, I was like, I'm gonna work hard and like have stuff prepared. And
What's
then I
pissing Amanda
didn't do
off?
Anything? What's pissing me off?
It can be a serious issue, a silly thing, something that you could just complain about.
Okay, complain. It's like a little bit. I don't know if it's a Halifax thing. I don't know if it's just new cities I'm getting used to or whatever. I walk a lot. And it's just, there's something to do, I don't know if it's this city or it's most cities in general, about just like the weird relationships between cars and pedestrians. And the idea that here specifically, I've had a lot of cars stop just like in the road to let me cross when I'm not even like trying to cross or like I'm not at a crosswalk, they're just stopping. Or like the idea that like cars are trying to like, yeah, you go ahead, go cross. And they're like holding up like 50 cars down the road. And like, yeah, do it. You're faster than I am. And it's like, I don't know. Or just like people not being able to like use like, I don't know. It's somewhere between the intersection of like pedestrians and cyclists and cars. And there's like systems that we have in play that work that like people go to the crosswalk or they just jaywalk when it works. And they like,
right.
Cars keep going by because you have the right of way and I'll go after you go, Like
it doesn't feel intuitive.
Yeah, it's not intuitive. And,
no.
and also I think it's just a lot of scared people behind the wheel that are like, oh my gosh.
Overly cautious people are almost more dangerous
for sure.
Yeah. I would agree.
It's like, but if you like go to big cities, they don't give a shit. Like the cars just keep going, and like things move faster because the cars know they'll just keep going, and the pedestrians will like cross when they can, and it's not. It's like I don't know.
Oh, okay, it's more of a well-oiled machine.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
a little bit.
Yeah,
like everyone kind of knows.
Yeah,
that's interesting because when you said that cars stop for you, I went, "Are you really in Halifax?" Because Halifax has so many pedestrian accidents. People getting hit.
Maybe it's a response to that.
Oh, like, maybe people are like overcompensating a little bit.
They have been because I was on the bus and I saw like there's like all these ads about like crosswalks and kind of stuff. I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah, a lot of people have died in the city because of cars hitting them.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
Is that to do with like roads or car problems?
I don't know.
Because I've heard both of those things about Halifax.
I think it's both.
Yeah,
I don't.
Halifax is the place that you go to live your dreams.
And Brian's dream is to die, but also be able to have a walkable commute. You can have it all.
I mean, like I walk a lot too, and like I'm psychotic. Like if you walk with me, I'm pretty psychotic about it. Like I am the person that will stop people because there's this thing that happens when you're at a crosswalk and there's a flashing green. And people start walking as if they have the walk.
Yeah.
And I have to go, no, let the cars go first. And I've done it a couple times with like high schoolers that are anxious to cross.
Yeah.
And I've put like a mom, I've put my arms out being like, no, just wait.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people I've walked with that I would say are more aloof people that just kind of mindlessly cross streets. And I am way more cautious because I'm terrified of getting hit by a car.
Well, I totally see that. But I the way I operate is just like I see that it's my technical whatever right of way, and then I scan and I'm like I'm going, but I also like jaywalk a lot, so it's like there's nobody around, and it's more like all senses at all point. And go with like the guidance of your right of way, and then like add in all these other kinds of things.
Yeah,
but
I also grew up jaywalking.
Yeah,
in a small town.
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, people did it all the time. It was like a way of life in Antigonish. Just like
obviously
always jaywalking.
You got it. I'm here. I have to be over there, so I'm gonna walk this way.
Dude, cops, can you get fined for that?
I think it depends provincially.
That was always a myth I heard growing up that the cops will ding you if you jaywalk.
Yo, I think Brian's looking.
Yeah, Brian, tell us.
I'm gonna be your Jamie right now.
Please do, Jamie. Jamie, what's up?
I remember because I remember hearing that something about Quebec had like harsher legislation because it's a bylaw thing. I think. I don't think it's a legal thing. It's a bylaw, which is done by like municipal places.
Oh, okay.
And maybe they can like go over and above provincially or something, but I don't think it's a criminal act.
In Canada, jaywalking is legal until a pedestrian walking outside of designated pedestrian areas interferes with traffic. This means that as a pedestrian who is crossing without a crosswalk, you must yield to motorists on the road.
Exactly, yeah,
So-
which is like, yeah, of course.
So in Canada, it's technically you can cross the road as long as you're not messing anyone up.
Yeah.
But then probably as like a bylaw, they can be like, this is a jaywalking free zone. Because like Halifax does fine you a lot.
Really?
Like I've been called out by cops like a few times to be like, hey, you're gonna get Montreal's super bad.
Okay, so yeah, see, that's what I heard.
In Montreal, people get like $30 tickets for crossing the road like all the time, but I think that's mainly just because cops are French and angry.
I feel like I think I've heard you just get fined a lot in Montreal for anything in regards to bylaws. Like
Everybody's French and angry.
Yeah, everybody's bi.
Ding, 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 ding. Fascinating. Yeah. I mean, like fucking drivers and driving things. Yeah. It's all so frustrating. Why is it so hard to exist in the world?
Okay, the main thing I would say specifically about the whole driving and like all the different kind of dynamics that can happen, and maybe this is you might feel attacked by this.
No, no, tell me.
But the idea that I feel like if people can, everybody should at one point be a pedestrian somewhere, cycle and drive, because then you have the perspective of all those different things.
No, I agree.
Because people in cars, they're like, why is this person doing this or something?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, if you realize that you can keep going, if you kept going, a person will cross after you, you know?
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Kind of thing. Like, why are they looking like they're going to cross? They're like freaking me out or something.
Yeah.
You know?
No, yeah.
And then same thing with like cyclists. And like, I feel like there's like issues between all three groups, but it's like, if you do all of it at least a little bit and have like a little bit of a concept of where the other person is like.
From the other point of view.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is exactly actually why when I do cross the street, I run. Because I don't want to hold people up.
Do you do that? Do you do like a full run, or do you do that run that looks like you gotta like hold them in a shit?
Speed walk.
Like
speed.
Do you know the run though when people like move with their chest like?
Oh yeah,
and it makes
yeah.
it look like they're going faster, but they're not. They're like,
I don't want anyone to wait. So I go fast. I hate people who just mosey across the street.
Yeah, I don't like the mosey. I like clear direction. You know?
Clear direction.
Take control when you have control and make it happen.
Yeah.
That's just me in general.
Walk with purpose, everybody.
Yeah. I also just love efficiencies of things. So it's like when things are inefficient.
Oh, I hate that.
I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, and there's a lot of it here.
Yeah.
The city planning in the city is garbage.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons. But that was a good rant. All right.
Thank you.
Now we get back into the inner workings of Amanda Rose. I would love to know, we've kind of touched on it a little bit, but what is wrong with you?
Ooh,
What
love that
is
question.
a flaw that you're working on? Insecurity?
Yeah. It's actually funny that you word it that way, because I've in the past little while I've recently just wanted to call up like all the closest people in my life and be like, what's wrong with me? Can you tell me? Like, just what's your idea? What's your best guess? What do you got? And then like kind of
Do they tell you?
I haven't done that yet. I've been having the thought just to have that exact wording.
That's funny.
Just to outsource my problems.
Outsource.
Or crowdsource, I guess.
Yeah.
Crowdsource. What's wrong with me? Yeah, I'm super impatient. That's one big thing. Like just like a low level character flaw that's everywhere and has kind of. It's why even when I started doing comedy, I was like, I'm gonna go across the country and do comedy. I'm not gonna wait longer to do that or something.
You just go for things to make it happen.
Yeah, or like I don't have time to get to know somebody
Right.
to date. Like,
Oh yeah,
who
fair.
does that? Yeah. So
Fair.
like impatience is a big thing. And so I think that's honestly, a root of like everything else in my life. And
Oh, interesting.
like in a lot of ways. Just like, cause I get anxious about things, cause they're not happening fast enough, or I'm not doing them fast enough, or like it's not
Right.
happening or something. And then same thing with getting depressed as well, you know, or like, yeah. And then, but it's a weird kind of like crux. And it's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about how she's like, she has this idea that everybody in the world has like this absolute like crux of like contrast in themselves. They're like just two things that don't make sense, like big juxtaposition.
Yep.
And my one thing I feel like is like, I'm so impatient and I want things to be happening and coming towards me and like opportunities. But then I'm also at the same time like, but I need to be patient and like just wait for them. Or do I go and get them?
Right.
You know, like, am I moving towards something and like making things happen? Or am I like putting some grace out in the world and being like,
and where's the balance between those things?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Striking that balance. Because I think both are important.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know? Like, because I do think like hard work, and I get the sense that you're like someone who's pretty like dedicated and driven. Like, which is two very good qualities in an
abstract way, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, like, but you know, if you're like, I want gigs, I'm gonna go get gigs.
Yeah,
that's a great. Like some people just don't do shit.
That's very true. That was me for a very long time too. I've changed a lot since doing comedy. Honestly,
that's so interesting. So it was comedy that kind of jump started all of this.
Yeah, I'd say a little bit.
Because you probably had that moment of this is my. Did you have the comedy moment of this is my thing that I want to do?
I don't know if I could say my thing. I think I'd just say this is a thing that I can do.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I just was basically like, everything that I'd heard or seen or experienced or talked about with people is like, you have to do it a lot and do it for a long time before anything could mean anything.
Right.
And so I was like, so this is a thing that I can do. So I'm going to try to do it for as long as possible, probably forever. And I hope that something comes from it. So
yeah. And I mean, hey, I don't think anything bad can come from that.
Yeah.
Other than burnout.
Yeah.
Which watch that.
Oh, I've had that a few times. I just took my longest break that I had in 6 months of 7 days without doing comedy.
I'm 2 weeks clean right now. Thank you very much. Killing it so far. No, I feel that that's the only thing I would say to hard workers is such a good quality to have in someone, but like definitely just watch the burnout and the overworking. And letting yourself mentally rest from stuff.
Well, and live your life too, because
live a life.
You have to live your life to have
a life
to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So how does Amanda live her life? So you also do photography, I've noticed.
Occasionally, yeah.
Yeah.
I did more in the past, like when I was much younger, in my earlier 20s. I would do more photography, and then this is another maybe flaw. It kind of maybe goes into my flaw in that it's like, if anything's getting popular and everybody's doing it, I'm like done. I don't want to do it anymore. And what
is that? Explain this to me, because as someone who's shamelessly not that, I'm the exact opposite of you, because Taylor Swift is my Jesus.
Okay, I do love Taylor Swift.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. I
yay.
have plenty of pop. I have plenty of pop culture, like just indulgences that I just like go for. I'm like, I don't care.
Okay.
But when it comes to just like certain things about like, so for example, with photography, I remember like, at one point, I think I was like coming out of high school, and it was just like every girl with a camera who posts a picture with a black and white photo thinks they're a photographer. And like, that was like a big thing.
Oh yeah.
And I think it was just like the timing of like social media and like cameras becoming more affordable and all these different layers of things. Anyways, so
that was a definite time. Yeah.
There's a time. Yeah. And I don't know. I think I just have an insatiable, unhealthy desire to be unique, which is
that's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I don't know if it's good or bad. It could be both.
I mean, I think it's just it's one of the sides of the spectrum, and you have to balance off of it a little bit.
Have you ever not done something but inside you deeply wanted to? Because of how it looks? Is it a perception thing? Because you're worried of how you'd come off if you did the thing, if you played into a cliche?
Maybe, but I think sometimes in my head I've already done like 3 bazillion mental gymnastics, so I've already gotten past that. So I've been like, I was like, I could do that. I don't like it. I don't like how it looks other people doing it.
Right.
Maybe that's a thing.
Could be.
And or if it's just like, it's honestly just like novelty. Like I'm constantly, that's like a big theme in my life, that I'm just constantly chasing novelty and uniqueness. And so it's like, if I just see anybody do it too much, like I'm like, I'm over it for the most part. If I'm bringing it into myself to like stick to my identity, or like, you know.
Oh my God.
Like if it's like a skincare that everybody's doing, and I'm like, oh, I'll buy that. Sure, I'll do that.
Right.
But
like,
right. You know, like if it's like something that could go forward and like be associated with me or something.
That's so fascinating. I'm still trying to figure out your star sign based on all of these things.
Well, I've said some hints towards
You've given me some big hints.
I've given you some big hints, yeah.
Like just so like you're obsessed with change. You want to be unique.
She said she was an airhead.
Are you Libra? Yeah. But I think you must have some Sagittarius in you. In your chart somehow.
Not in the last 7 years.
Actually,
me on the other hand.
wait, no, let me think.
I love Sagittarius
let me check
men.
the records.
Sagittarius men are my like kryptonite. I love them.
Oh, interesting. Okay, but with the photography thing, you're asking about that. I did that for a bit, and then I've only recently picked it up again and I wanted to do more of it since getting into comedy because I like the idea of also like capturing that kind of world, and it seemed like a cool opportunity.
They marry really good together,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Comedy and photography. Mm-hmm. Shout out to all the photographers out there, including Brian. It's I want to learn too, but it just seems like a lot to learn. It's very intimidating.
It's also expensive.
Yeah, that's
So
the
like
thing.
you have to like love it or like make it a way that you make money for you.
That's the thing. I'm like, I need to choose my expensive hobbies at this point.
Yeah.
And there's already like so much more gear that I need for this studio that I'm like, I can't do more.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. And you also said that you put in your non-bio that you're a writer because you write jokes, obviously. Mm-hmm. But do you consider yourself also just a writer of things?
Yeah, I think
general
so.
things?
Yeah, I think so. I've written poetry in the past. I go through times and I say writer, I guess, because I'm writing every day. And when it comes to even, it's just like,
That's why you're so good.
no, and like it's not always good. Like I started doing just like writing like the brain dump pages, if you've ever heard of that, like in the morning.
You just brain dump. You just write whatever.
Yeah, it's like you
I've
write
heard
like
that.
a couple pages every morning of just like whatever, and it's just like you do it every day, and it's putting pen to paper, and it's a process and whatever. So I've started that for a while now, and I've always journaled and incessantly, probably to a fault.
What do you have promise with your journaling, or do you just write? Do you just like write about how your day was? I don't know how to journal. I don't know how to journal. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Oh my gosh.
I know that there's like books that are like writing prompts that you can do, like, but just like any fucking planner or book thing that I get, I don't stick with it.
Yeah.
But I respect the process of journaling so much, and I deeply want to do it, but I just don't know how. Like I know very well, like when I was younger, I was like, today I did this, today I did that, and then I saw this person.
Yeah, well, I still do a lot of that.
Do you? But that's good to have.
It does. It helps a lot with memory and stuff. But so I did it when I was a kid. I remember there's a point of pride, I think, over like 3 years that I journaled every day.
Oh wow.
For 3 years, and I was like, I would talk about it incessantly to everybody who would listen. I'd like do these elaborate like sticker journals and like, kind of crazy stuff. And then I've just always journaled since then. Maybe not always like consistently, but it's more of like it's a processing thing for me, like emotionally. And like,
okay, so it's more thoughts.
It's more thoughts for
Putting
sure.
Thoughts down.
Thoughts and just kind of recording what's kind of happening in my life and stuff. But in the past 4 years, I've done like religiously, like kind of, I call it reverse agendas. And then I have like kind of calendars, and then I usually write just like high points every day every day. For like the past 4 years. I know what I've done like every day, at least roughly.
Really?
Yeah. And that's just like, I don't know if it was a bit of a discipline habit, if it's just kind of satisfying that I can like look back and like know all these things, or kind of compare, and I don't know.
You know what's a cool thought? Are you someone do you have any interest in having kids at all? Yeah. I think a cool thing is the thought of like your future kids finding.
That's a horror thought.
Well,
regularly.
I saw a TikTok of this girl crying because she found her mom's journal.
Oh, really?
And her mom wrote in her journal the day before she was born, and it was just like this beautiful journal entry.
Okay. See that, but because that has something to do with her.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't want your mom didn't want to hear 9 months earlier what exactly happened. Like you wouldn't want to be crying over that.
Can you imagine if she was just like, I'm really not looking forward to this birth tomorrow?
No, can you imagine being like, I'm going out for a date with this guy tonight. I don't really like him. Or something. I don't know.
I don't really like them.
I feel like two generations down, sure, my grandkids could find my journals. That'd be okay. But like, I don't know about kids.
See, because now I consider these podcasts journals.
Yeah.
And that's
totally.
That's horrific. That's horrific.
That might be a reason why you can't journal. You might be already expended all of your.
I already do kind of like audio journals.
Yeah,
kind
totally.
of thing. Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe I should just do, instead of, I mean, this podcast is not a daily podcast, but I should do like little audio journals. I could probably do that.
That would be very interesting.
I do have thoughts that I want to articulate.
Well, and you can even audio to dictation, like on if you want to read it back too, to have that.
Yeah, that's a cool function. I really like that function. Yeah, I love voice memos. Mm-hmm. I've realized this about myself. I don't actually really like texting. I love a voice memo. I love just like phone calls with people I know. With people I don't know.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
No, I call everybody now. No,
do you really?
I've leaned back into it, being like, because most of the time I feel like it's just more efficient.
It is.
Like you go back, you're like, oh, or like even like sometimes you email people in like work life and you're like, this has been going on for 2 weeks. This could have been a conversation of 10 minutes and it could have been over or something. Like we're kind of I feel like we're coming back in a loop towards it, or like we should be, because it's just like, yeah, we just talk. We have the capability.
I like doing it with friends, but people I don't know, it's always very kind of...
It's contextual.
I don't like cold calling. That's my thing. So for work shit, I'm not a cold caller. I have a coworker who's like from journalism school. He does not care. He will do it. That is not in my psyche to cold call someone.
I feel like it's a thing you'd get over if you just do it a ton.
Yeah, you're probably right. I get such stage fright when I call people.
Really?
I'm one of those, I have to write out like what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Ring. What if I bomb?
That's exactly the thought I have. And like, even if it's just like, I don't know why making doctor's appointments to me is always so nerve wracking.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
I
can't seem to make it happen.
Yeah, I hate that.
And most of the time that I see my doctor, it's on the phone. I'm always like so nervous for that. I'd rather just see her in person. But she's just more available on the phone.
Well, isn't there like, there's like a certain amount of fatigue that people have like registered since the pandemic about the amount of Zoom and like phone call and lack of actual human interaction when it comes to just like day-to-day things that people have moved off. Like, we don't have to do that anymore.
We don't have to do, but
it's like, but
you still can, and there's still value in it. But yeah, you're right. People don't want to do that. That's why I fucking hate remote podcasts. Like, you'll notice I just don't really do them. I think my episode 201 was remote, and that was because I really wanted to talk to my friend Lauren, who's in Montreal. I was like, well, I'm gonna make this happen because I love the person. Totally. But generally speaking, I will stay away from remote interviews, especially if I don't know them. Yeah, that's what an awkward podcast.
Totally. Well, I mean, like, and you can get into it. Like, there's energies at play right now.
Yeah, yeah.
There's energies. I mean, even like at a cellular level, you could say like people learn like biologically, just like, oh, what does this place smell like? What is this like? What's the feeling? What's the temperature? Like, we're all on literally the same level of like being in the same room, you know?
Yeah, you cannot beat just like an in-person conversation. No. Which is why like you mentioned, like not really dating and not really doing that. Like, I'm trying to do that right now, and just the texting conversations with men that are so boring, and it's making me just want to rage quit and not do it.
Have you just said to them like, I'm not a big texter?
I did, yeah. I sent a cool kind of more chill, like, I'm not that chatty, like over text, like can't wait for Tuesday night, looking forward to it. And then he threw back to me, well, where do you want to go? And and I sent that to all my...
What do you want?
And I sent that to all... And Maggie... is it... I know it's not Etsy. I always want to say Etsy. Maggie...
It's you, Brian.
Yeah, what?
What's Maggie's last name?
Easty.
Easty.
Yeah.
I was texting with Maggie about it because she was like... I was like, am I insane to be icked off by men who ask you out and then ask you what you want to do? And she's like, no, it's infuriating. And I was like, okay, good. Yeah. Because I'm like, if ask a girl out, maybe find out what area of town she lives in and pick a place.
I would say...
such a hot...
Oh, yeah, because as a dude, the first thing you want to do before your first date is, hey, where do you live? You fucking psychopath.
But, I mean... Listen, I appreciate that as someone who doesn't have a car.
A region.
If he picks like a place out in Dartmouth Crossing or something for dinner, like I would hate that.
Yeah, a region I think is definitely
region. Yeah.
If anything, even asking the question, what would you hate to do? Like if like just picks that one thing, but it's like how many options do you have? Like dinner, walk, movie, coffee, whatever. Like
I always suggest coffee or drinks.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's such a low stake date.
Totally.
He was the one who suggested dinner, but then did not know where. And I just men listening to this, there's nothing hotter than someone who can make a plan. Just make a plan. Just give us a plan. We don't want extra work.
We subscribe to gender roles here in that world, which I get. But sometimes people don't. And there is
that's true.
And we are, I think there's a little bit of leeway maybe that I've kind of given in this day and age because of like whatever, I don't know, pushbacks on like what women should do and what men should do and what expectations we have for either of them in the relationships. You kind of have to make that known a little bit. Or like try to put that out there, being like, hey, I really appreciated it if guys take the initiative to do something like this. You're like, I like that kind of expectation going into like a dynamic.
And you're right, because people aren't mind readers and everyone's trying their best probably. Exactly. And that's the thing. Like I had so many messages today of being like, just bail on this guy, screw this guy. And I was like, no, I'm going to give him a chance. Not everyone, like, you know, dating's fucking brutal. Yeah. Everyone's trying and I'm not judging. I get the ick very easily.
Yeah, I do too.
Very easily.
Are you excited about the date though?
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Really? But going back, just like cut out what happened with the texting. What were your initial like feelings?
I mean, I don't love the idea of a dinner date. So that stresses me out.
Why?
Because I have IBS.
Okay, fair.
Eating is just generally not fun for me.
Yeah.
I eat to survive, not to have fun. Yeah. I'm not one of those people.
Well, that's the thing. Then, if he had asked you, "What do you want?" you should say, "I would prefer not a dinner date."
I know, and I should have, but here's the other thing.
He asked
Amanda,
you what you wanted.
But here's the thing, Amanda. He like I followed up about the date, and he said, actually, I said if you want to grab a drink. I think I said drink. And then he was the one who came back with supper. And then I went in my head, being my stupid brain, maybe he's sober. Maybe he doesn't want to drink.
That's true, yeah.
Maybe and then I went, you got to be more open, Sarah. You got to just embrace whatever. So just go on the goddamn dinner date and stop being a diva. And so I said yes to it. But I'm never excited for a date, ever. I don't know who is. I don't know who would ever be excited for that idea.
Yeah.
If I liked someone, if we were like seeing each other for a bit, then I would be excited. But I don't know if I like this guy yet.
I have a different way, and that the only reason I'm excited for most dates that I go on, I was like, I'm getting attention. And it's like
I thought you were gonna say free food. Hopefully that too.
I mean, sometimes, but honestly, I've only realized that recently, being like after a date, I'm like, why was that okay? I was like, oh yeah, because he laughed at all my jokes. He wasn't interesting at all, or something. But it's like that's why I try to go into it. Like I'm going to be with a person and we're going to talk, and I get to talk about myself for this however amount of time.
Yeah, well,
and hopefully he makes himself interesting enough in that time period that I'll want to do it again.
I always see it as this is just an opportunity to meet a new person in the world.
Yeah,
make it fun. I treat it kind of like a podcast. You're just talking to someone to get to know them.
Totally.
And I like to think that I will make any date good as long as they're not horrific. If they're not like a horrific person, I will make sure good conversation is had.
Yeah.
But there's something I hate more than when a guy is like, so what are you looking for? Like right out the gate, they want to know what you're looking for. And it's just like, we're just meeting each other right now.
Totally.
Why are we putting all this pressure on this like one date?
Yeah.
We should just take it way less seriously, in my opinion.
There is a balance of that and stuff, but I feel like in certain cases with you, it's like if you communicate a little bit about like, I don't love eating, or I don't want to, like, I might not eat as much on this date, or like that's not what I'm.
It might go a long way if I just start doing that. Yeah.
Yo, imagine next time you're like drinks and they're like supper, you go paintballing. Just like throw something ridiculous back at
Truly.
them.
Well, what I wanted to do.
Throwing?
Because the first, I've had 3 icks. I've had 3 icks with this guy in total, and we haven't even gone out yet. Which one was the hey beautiful text.
You hated that.
Despise.
Would you rather be called hey sexy? I would rather being upset about.
I would rather
the terminology ones.
I don't like hey beautiful. There's something pickup artisty about it.
Yeah, I get that.
You also haven't earned that beautiful. You have not earned that beautiful yet.
You don't earn that beautiful, folks.
So you need to be like you need to be in good with someone before you call them beautiful?
I mean,
in that way,
he saw me for 5 minutes at a speed dating event.
Yeah. It does seem pickup artisty.
And it's just too soon. It's too soon.
It's too familiar.
Yeah. That's the thing. Didn't like that.
Do you hate pet names in general at the beginning? Not pet names, but names of like endearment. I don't really know how to say that. You know when you like go to a store and like an old deli and it's like an old lady and she's always like, "Hi dear, hi love."
Yeah, I don't like that.
Hate those?
Not with a romantic prospect. You know what I do love? And
I hate
here's the thing.
those old ladies.
Here's the thing.
I am that old lady.
I wouldn't mind that from like a platonic situation.
Yeah.
But when it's a romantic situation, like I like a hey you. I like that. Hey you. I do like a hey you.
Have you heard of the TV show called You?
Oh, I have. And I freaking love it. And that could be why. That could be why I love it. But yeah, no, I don't like over, sounds fucking insane to say, as someone who does want compliments, I want to be desired for sure. But just right out the gate, hey, beautiful. I just picture him, hey, beautiful. Like
it feels schmoozy.
It feels schmoozy and ugh. And then the second ick was the constant check-ins every single day. How's your day?
Yeah.
How's your day? How's your day? Today, I really wanted to throw him a curveball and just say something like, it was pretty good. How do you like to fuck? Like,
you honestly should have just said it was terrible and like listed a lot of things.
That's what I should have said.
You should have just like, I don't know, answer.
And then just end it with you. What about you?
You just launch into your family traumatic history and then be like, this is why this is happening. And like, what's going on with you there, buddy?
I do actually really believe in being fully yourself.
Yeah.
Right away.
Totally.
Like maybe not everything, like maybe not super, super deep things, but like I'm, on this date, I'm going to talk about how I've been staying up all night watching live streams of Taylor Swift's concert. I'm going to be honest about that. Totally. This is what I do up till 3 a.m. watching a concert on my phone. Maybe I'll leave the credit card debt for another date, but like things like that, like just being like very honest about like who you are and like where you are in life, because like we don't want to be wasting time here.
No, I get that completely.
So do you go on a lot of dates?
Let's see. I'm trying to think. In the past year,
are you as bad as me? Not a lot in the past year.
I've probably gone on 6 dates.
In the past, that's pretty good. In 2021, 2022?
Maybe in 2020.
What are you?
Actually, no. That's actually pretty good because 6. No, actually, that's actually beaten a little high. Maybe 4.
That's not bad. For me, it's like 1 or 2. I really don't go on a lot of dates.
I stopped dating actually entirely more when I started doing comedy too.
Yeah, that's
a lot more.
Well, it's hard to do.
Huh?
You started dating more after comedy?
No, less.
Oh, okay.
I stopped a lot.
Because your evenings are full.
No, it was more just like
you'd rather be at
nobody's interesting anymore.
Oh,
that's just in general. That was
there
like
you go.
That was like, I don't know. I feel like some people can relate in comedy, being like hanging out with people who aren't comedians who go on stage and tell jokes. There's a different vibe and you have a different expectation, and like it's definitely not healthy what we're doing all the time. And we're like entertaining, but at the same time, like I just got I was bored by everybody for so long, and then
that's so real.
And then I've been asked out a few times since doing comedy after shows, and I hate that too. Like I don't think I could ever.
You've been asked out after shows?
Yeah, I hate that.
Oh
so
no way!
much.
I've never been asked out after a show.
I hate it though. It's bad because it's the weirdest. It's like people have this persona, an idea of you, and they think about it, and then they're like, "Ooh, I want that," and it's
just like you were performing.
Yeah, I was performing. It's like I don't want somebody to see me do comedy and then have like try to get to know me after that. From that, it's like meet me on a different level.
They literally approach you after you're off.
I had like a few DMs.
Oh, DMs.
Yeah.
So followed.
You had a man who had the name of a jar.
What?
Well, can we tell this story?
Yeah,
let's
this was
hear
after
it.
Sunday sesh, like maybe a couple months ago. And this dude came up, like first of all, I saw him in the crowd. He's like by himself, just like sitting there, like. And
it's a great impression.
And he came up. I don't even know what he said at first, but he basically he came up and he asked me. He told me his name. He's like, "Hi, my name's Mason, like the jar." And then but then he proceeds to ask me what my name is. I just got off stage, and he's theoretically having been watched me for 10 minutes. And I've said either my name once or twice, had my name said 3 or 4 times. He said, "What's your name, Brittany?" That's what he said. I think he was like, "Is that an egg?" I think that's an egg.
That is an egg.
Anyways, and I was stunned. And he just kept talking and talking. And he was telling me about, I don't even know what he was saying, but it was awful.
Okay, the craziest part about this story.
What is it?
The craziest
Oh, you
part
know
about
him.
Oh, dog. So after this, so I'm sitting there just like watching the show, and Amanda runs over to me flustered. She goes, I think some dude just negged me. And I was like, what? She's like, do you know what negging is? I was like, oh, dog, I lived with a guy in university, and his buddy came down from Halifax, and he taught us all what it was, and it was the craziest shit ever. And so Amanda and I laughed about it, and then I walked out, and the dude who came to my university and taught everybody about negging was negging Amanda. He did a free seminar in a frat house, essentially, and then has been using the tricks for 13 years on Amanda.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Yeah.
What are the fucking chances?
He was like a buddy of a buddy who showed up to party for a weekend, and this is his personality.
Yeah.
So everybody found out what it was, and then we saw it live not work on Amanda.
Stunningly
I'm super
horrific.
glad I did zero things with that information.
Holy shit. That's wild.
Yeah, it's funny. And he was trying to tell me about a Mad TV documentary he was watching. Like, he was telling me about this documentary. We were at a show. He was yelling in my ear about it. And I'm like, shut the
I don't understand the lack of etiquette. Do people not realize that we're annoyed by stuff like this?
Yeah. Oh, I show it very clearly.
Yeah, good.
But this guy obviously was in a different world.
So these guys that ask you in the DMs, like, how do you respond to that?
Okay, well, the thing is, I ignore most of them.
I love that. I mean, why not? Yes,
because they go to my requests, and you don't have, you can accept it or not, and so I just see it, and I'm like, eh.
Yeah. Oop, didn't see it. Yeah.
Sorry, I saw it.
That's well, I wish it was like MSN or MSN Messenger. Did I just say that? I meant to say Facebook Messenger.
I wish it was like MSN Messenger.
On Facebook Messenger, if you, on iPhone at least, I don't know how it is for Android, if you just hold the message with your thumb, you can preview it before opening it.
Okay, yeah, I think there's something something like that.
I wish Instagram had that function.
I think like on a notification, like on your
or like a message.
Yeah, I think sometimes
Instagram message. Yeah,
there's versions of that. There's versions of like settings. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Do you get uncomfortable turning people down?
No, I do it so often. I say no way more than I say yes. I think I've actually tried to say yes more, but
oh yeah, well that's what I'm trying to do now.
Saying no or getting shut down shouldn't be that big of a deal too. Like it's like
I think it's the main reason why I hate dating because I despise rejecting people.
Really
despise it. I hate
well, it's
it.
Not great.
I hate it. I'd like to avoid it if I can.
Well, yeah, but it just I don't.
It's part of life.
You're offering me something. I don't want it. Say no.
Fair. Yeah. I mean, that's a great way to look at it. That's really all it is. Do you want this cookie?
Yeah.
Nah. I don't. I'm not into oatmeal raisin.
Yeah. Objectify men like a cookie.
Yeah. They're like cookies.
Object permanence.
Maybe don't put this in, Sarah, but like the reason, like the date on Tuesday, I'm kind of excited because if I'm not feeling it, I have a great out. He's a single dad. I'm not ready.
Yeah. But
now he heard that.
No, she said maybe don't put this in.
I'm probably gonna cut that.
I mean, but are you ready if you do like him?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I have a bit right now that I'm trying to work on. That's essentially like in an ideal world, I would have a practice boyfriend. Because like yeah, I think I would be open to like dating someone with a kid if I really really liked them. But it's also a lot of pressure, and like I haven't been in a relationship in 11 years.
Yeah.
So like I want like a practice boyfriend, like kind of like a low risk, short term.
That could be anybody.
Like could be anyone. Just kind of like see someone casually for a bit first, but
do it. Yeah.
Who knows?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a scary thing getting back into dating after 11 years.
It's terrifying, but what if it's great? Sorry, I'm turning into Brene Brown. What if it's good?
What if
it's your dream? It's everything you could have wanted. What if 10 years down the line, you are happy?
What if?
What if the universe is conspiring for you? I don't know.
Oh my God. The universe doesn't care about us.
Probably not.
But
what if you believe that it does? You can believe whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, that's true. I get fed so much of that like self-love stuff or like manifesting like I don't know if I believe it.
I don't think I believe it, but I do think that if there's this thing I have in my head that's like, okay, you ever have that where you hear a word or like a topic and you're like, oh man, I just keep hearing that around me. Like it just keeps coming up. And have you ever had that?
Yeah.
Well, and it's like, it's just because you've suddenly been keyed into it. Like
for whatever reason.
For whatever reason. It's not the universe, but you've been keyed into it. So if you key into something like, I'm going to date, I'm going to find somebody, I'm going to do it. Like, that's what I think is at the root of like manifesting. It's like, you're just focusing on something a little bit. And you're more likely to make things happen or have things collide in that path because of that.
All of a sudden you're focusing on a different
because
thing.
of that perspective.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the whole if you drive a red Honda Civic, you're going to see more red Honda Civics.
Exactly.
If you drive a blue Volkswagen, you're going to see more blue Volkswagens.
Yeah.
It's because you're looking for it because that's what you're familiar with.
Yeah.
And then it just brings it to your forefront constantly.
Yeah. So I think there is like, I obviously like hated the idea of like whatever the secret is or manifesting and all that. Of course. It was popular. Do you think I liked it? Of course I hated it.
Literally on my bookshelf. I've been the one that bought that book.
But you said
but I buy into all of that, but I never really buy it. You know what I mean? Like I buy it, but I don't buy it.
Yeah. You can't return it.
Yeah, no.
But I think that there obviously is something in that somewhere. And it's just like, oh, if I don't know, what is it? Like if you just pretend to smile, I heard that, you're like, oh, you could feel better. Like if you just put a smile on, you eventually could trick your brain. Like it's just like habits and tricking your brain, and like you're just trying to trick yourself the whole day, every day.
That's a lot of tricks.
Yeah, so stop being mad when I tell you to smile more.
That's men trying to trick me. I will trick myself because I am a strong, independent woman.
As a podcast producer, I will tell people when they're talking into a mic to smile because like it just makes their like voice sound warmer. Totally. And I always feel so like just smile. Like I hate telling people that, but there is something to it.
Do you feel better when you're podcasting because you're smiling all the time?
My like mouth is in a constant frown. Like you don't? No. It feels like it's I am trying to smile more just for and on stage specifically because my fucking stand-up photos, I look so pissed all the goddamn time. There's very rare photos of me doing stand-up where I'm smiling. And that was one thing about you. You take really cute stand-up pictures. It always looks like you're like you're never like in the middle of like you're just like kind of posing.
I'm maniacally cackling at all points. So if you catch a point in that, then it's going to be good.
Your stand-up pictures are good.
Thank you.
I feel like it's just a tricky thing to photograph. But wonderful. So we have one last segment.
Okay.
It's at the end because like it might get us canceled, maybe. Well, you, not me. You're the one saying that. What is your unpopular opinion? Don't hate me for this, but it's time for an unpopular opinion.
Opinion. I had one recently, and I don't know if I still stand by it, but I think it's an interesting thing still. I think that way more people lie about the fact that they like the taste of beer.
Yeah.
I do believe that a lot of people do enjoy it, but I think there's a high proportion of people lying a lot about it. About actually enjoying it. Like you can drink water and it's just like, yeah, this is fine. And it's getting the job done. And I think a lot of people look at beer or like some points of alcohol like that, but beer primarily, I would say, because it's like cool, it's chill. I'm a chill girl. I like beer.
I'm a cool chill girl. Yeah.
No, but I think some people really do enjoy it and like make it and like seek it out and go for the flavors. But also I think so many people lie about it.
I actually kind of recently realized I don't know if I even like the taste of coffee. I love coffee. I drink it all the time.
I think that could fit in the same thing.
I had the moment recently where I really like thought about what I was tasting. And I was like, I get why people don't like coffee.
Yeah.
It's bitter. It's kind of gross.
Well,
it's not.
They're in a similar vein. They're both kind of like bitter things.
Yeah.
And theoretically, you like bitter things more when you get older and like because it's a strong flavor.
But beer is a cool girl trait. I'm gonna have a beer with one of the boys. Yeah. I'm just one of the guys. I'm having a beer. I'm cool. And also in Halifax specifically, there's so many craft breweries that it is such a fucking part of the zeitgeist here. Yeah. Also, I love the word zeitgeist.
Love the word.
I've been using it so much lately.
Love it.
Zeitgeist. It's part of the zeitgeist. I don't even know if I'm using it correctly. I think I am. I think that I am. It's like part of the zeitgeist in Halifax to like beer, go get a beer. You want to every day you want to go grab a beer.
Yeah.
I am not a beer person. I've been very open and honest about that.
That's good.
It makes me bloated. I don't know how all these hot bitches are drinking beers without a stomach that looks like they're pregnant.
See, the thing is, I think the reason I have that opinion is because it's something, also another fault of mine, that I project a lot. I project so much. I'm like, I think this, so this is the truth, and everybody thinks it, and this is what's happening. All the time for years. I've gotten a little bit better about it, but I think that's a real projection because I've enjoyed some beers here and there, but I was like, most of the time I'm like, I'm getting beers and I don't enjoy this. I don't know why I'm doing it. And I'm going to stop now. I like pop.
Yes.
So much. I love it.
Pop.
I love sugar.
I haven't been digging the bell. I keep forgetting about the bell. It's like positive reinforcement. It's like, yes, I agree. Pop.
Love
but I also I'm pretty shameless in that I'll just be like, I don't drink beer. Can we go somewhere that has vodka?
Yeah.
Just vodka soda. Mm-hmm. That's what I want. That's what I can drink comfortably. I hate suffering through beers. It's the worst. It's the worst.
That's in general. Just don't do what you don't want.
Don't do what you don't want to do. This was on the last podcast too. What we talked about. Yeah, you gotta do what you fucking want.
Yeah.
And the sooner you can get to that era of your life, the better.
Yeah.
You know, because I know 20s was not it for me. I was stuffing myself into tight dresses and uncomfortable clothes and all of that. Fuck that. We were talking about comfort when you came in.
Yeah.
I'm all about comfort now.
That's great. Yeah, me too, for sure. I feel like I've gone through my own renaissance. I think for a long time I was telling myself that I was only doing what I wanted to do, but I think that became like a personality trait.
Yeah.
Which is talking unhealthy.
Yeah.
And then I was like, but what do I want? What do I want? So I don't know. I think I'm doing better at that now.
That's good. Everyone should lean into that. Only do it if you really want to do it, if it sparks joy or whatever the fuck it.
Yeah. I am not a minimalist, so that's.
I literally, actually, that was one of the. I had that written down as an assumption, but I skipped over it because as we were talking, I was like, I don't think she is.
Yeah. Actually, balance that out, right?
I don't. I think I just assume. I think I have this weird assumption with people who are travelers or explorers.
Oh yeah.
That they don't have a lot of things.
Yeah. I have a lot of things in storage, and I have I had way too much stuff in my car that I did not need to bring. Just crazy stuff. But I am always okay, there's two parts of me. I'm trying always to seek towards, I would love to be a minimalist. I'd love it. It'd be so cool. I think it'd be so nice. But I know that having a lot of stuff brings me a lot of joy. So I know that now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I like having a lot of stuff, but I also move every 2 years. And
so it's not efficient.
And it's not efficient. But that's another thing is I like to do things that are very difficult and challenging. And so I was I'm just going to be a maximalist with a lot of things and keep moving and packing and being terrible at it. But I keep doing it.
And it's a challenge every time.
Yeah.
To pack everything. That's wild. What kind of things do you have that, do you have are you a knick-knack person?
Oh, big knick-knack.
Love a
big
knick-knack?
Big knick-knack. Toys.
Books.
I keep stupid stuff. I keep crazy things.
Oh,
from,
really?
Tiny shitty little things or tickets or papers or
oh, but that's kind of
nice. That I find I have rocks.
Oh, okay.
What we do, rocks, things like that, stupid things or I don't know.
But you put sentimental value into them, and that's why you keep them around.
Yeah, everything's sentimental. All my things are sentimental.
Well,
I have a lot of clothes too.
Clothes are it's so easy to accumulate clothes. It's a fucking mountain. Oh my gosh, I think we've come to the end.
That's the end?
I think we've come to the end, unless there's anything else you want to pop off about. This was a treat getting to know you, though.
Oh, it was an absolute treat to be here.
Yeah, I know so much more about you now, and makes total sense that you're a Libra. But I love it.
Hear that, Otter?
But I love Libras.
I don't know who should be more offended by that, me or you.
No,
I love Libras. I forgot.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love Libra women and men. So
yeah.
We love you as a collective.
You.
Yep. I can speak for all Libras. That's how it works. You can just do it.
All Libras love Sarah. Or Pisces, Taurus rising. Awesome. Well, Amanda, where can people find you, follow you, stay up to date with what you're doing?
They can follow me on my Instagram, which is funny because
I also love your Instagram name. I need to. Okay, actually, sorry. Before you plug your Instagram handle, actually plug it. What is it?
My Instagram handle is aw.potato. AW.potato.
Why are you listed as a grocery store?
Because I thought it was funny. But I also, I was choosing, okay, I had changed my Instagram and I was I want to be a business. I want to make it more professional. And then I'm oh, look at all these options of what you can choose. You can do whatever you want. You can put whatever you want. Nobody's
literally
checking.
anything.
Yeah. And then I went through a phase, and I still do. I love grocery shopping so much. I love leisurely grocery. I love going and like at like not busy times and just taking so much time. Grocery shopping. I
like taking my time with grocery shopping. I hate a rush trip.
Yeah. And I love making like a list. I love seeing people's lists. I love seeing people. I just love the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so I just saw grocery store. I thought that was funny.
That's so fucking funny.
And then actually it's funny because a comic friend of mine in Kelowna, he like messaged me one day. He's like, dude, you're a grocery store too? And we both simultaneously chosen that.
I want to choose something now. Should I choose something?
Yeah, you could definitely do it.
I think I have digital creator right now.
Yeah, that's too real.
That's far too fucking real. Okay, let's see. Edit profile. What are my choices?
You should be a pharmacist and just share your meds.
Gamer, restaurant, grocery store.
Oh, you could be a restaurant so people can eat out.
Oh, finally!
I could be
got a lot of cats here.
I could be a community. I kind of like that idea. A community.
Yeah, you got enough personalities in there, right?
Musician or band? No. I love that though. The potato grocery store.
Yeah.
And I also love it because potato is in your username. How did you come up with potato?
So potato has been my favorite food since I was a child. So much so that I wanted to work at Wendy's when I was a kid. That was like my dream job, was because I would eat their baked potatoes all the time. And then I grew up and I was like, oh, you can just get literally any other job and buy potatoes because they're like dirt cheap.
Oh my God. No, they're the best.
And they're the greatest. I still stand by it. I think it's still my favorite food. And so I just thought it was funny years ago, potato, and my last name starts with W. So I did AW. And then I was like, potato.
There you go. I was wondering if I called you Amber again. You're Amber now. You are Amber. I was wondering if Rose, like, I was pretty convinced that it was a middle name.
Yeah, it's my middle name.
Middle name? Okay. Gotcha.
I've been haunted. I did a show once in Victoria, and I'm pretty sure a dude called me Amber, actually, in my intro.
You kind of look like an Amber.
That's I'm gonna do it to you and say next week.
But that's a hot girl name.
Is it though?
Yeah, absolutely. Amber? Yeah. Yeah,
that's a hot girl hooker. Hot. I don't know.
Unless it's
I've been terrified by every Amber I've known. They're terrifying.
Amber that was recently with Johnny Depp.
Amber Heard.
Okay, she's kind of ruined Amber's a bit, maybe.
I'm terrified. Every Amber I've ever heard of is terrifying.
Really?
Yep. In Otter, he
are you nodding over there, Otter?
Oh, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
So what are the other crazy girl names? There's Amber.
I don't like subscribing to like
crazy.
No. Women are crazy. I think I'm crazy. Don't let the record show. I do agree that as a rule, there's exceptions. Whatever.
Name bias is not cool though.
Name bias. I don't know. I think it's like.
It's just like astrology sign bias, kind of silly.
Astrology has more merit than name bias.
Oh, do you think?
I think so.
Are you like maybe you're not like a super super duper fan of astrology, but you like?
I think that there's enough things that times of the year, just in general.
Yeah.
Like if you're born in the summer versus the winter, it changes things about how your cells and genetics and like immune system are changed. So why couldn't it be slight differences based off of throughout the year?
The astrology side. Yep.
I don't know. And I don't think it's like all be all end all, but I think there's enough of a difference. So then I lean into the rest for fun.
Yeah. It's just fun. Everyone.
It's just fun. It's all a game where nobody's getting out alive.
Men need to just relax.
Especially not Otter. He's going faster.
and the thing is, guys, men out there, the more you know about astrology, have that knowledge, keep it like don't like be so outwardly like about astrology. Just be indifferent. But then you can throw in something like you can say like North Node, or like, and if you're like with a hot astrology girl, she'll probably like love that.
Yeah, perhaps.
So like, it's only going to work in your favor.
The girl's gonna like it if he knows what that means. Now, dudes are just gonna walk around saying North Node.
No, I don't.
Girl's gonna be like, oh, he's a lunatic.
Dude, no, like whatever the hell you like. Like whatever the hell you like. I don't like if you care, if you just like are indifferent about astrology, or if you love it, which I don't.
Yeah,
I don't love.
You're kind of in the middle. You're not. Yeah. I actually like that stance.
I'll lean into it, and then I'll pop out of everything. Okay, that's dumb.
Yeah, I just feel like there's too many.
I take advantage of astrology.
I could use so many examples of people that are just like their sign, but
yeah, exactly.
But also, I think a lot of the signs could be applied to anybody.
Totally.
I also very much so see that.
Yeah.
So
it's like, does it resonate with you?
does it? Yeah, that's what they say in tarot card readings.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You can take it or leave it. And it's the same thing with like manifesting and that kind of thing. It's like you just lean into it and then it could be maybe self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what some of astrology is.
That really, yeah, very much so. Could be it. That could be it.
Could be it, folks.
That's our lesson in astrology today on Intoxicated. You're welcome, listeners. So follow Amanda .potato
Yeah, super simple.
on Instagram. Keep up with her adventures. And also, like, if you're in Halifax, go see this gal live. She's very, very fucking funny. You're going places, only a year in, crushing it.
Oh, thank you.
One last question before you go. Do you have like a comedy goal? This being this new in and already like have done so much?
Have I done much? I don't know.
You've done competition.
I'd love to do a recording one day. I don't know.
There we go.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I think
of course everybody wants to do that.
Everyone wants to do a recording.
I
Also,
want to do a recording. If I do that, Otter does not want to do a recording. Otter believes in everybody but himself.
That's my go-to.
that's so funny. That's so true.
Yeah.
If you guys are listening to this when the episode comes out on Friday, you can see, if it's not sold out, Amanda at the roast battle.
And Brian Otter. At the
And
roast
Brian
battle.
Otter, which I had no idea you were competing, Brian, till today.
Yeah.
We're going to talk off the mic. All right. Thank you so much, Amanda, for doing this.
Thank you,
It was
Sarah.
a treat to get to know you, and you can end the episode with a bell ring. Bang. Bong. Thank you for listening to the Intoxicated Podcast. If you enjoyed this week's episode, make sure you subscribe on whatever podcast app you use and leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts. You can also give us a follow on Facebook and Instagram at Intoxicated Podcast and check out our video episodes on the Intoxicated YouTube channel. Until next week, feel hard and talk hard. Intoxicated Podcast is hosted and produced by Sarah McClellan and brought to you by the messiness of life.